Hi, this is Dr. Burrow, and I'm going to be your AP Environmental Science teacher this year. And this is Wednesday, August 19th. In case you weren't able to get onto Zoom, who knows what technical difficulties there may be, or it doesn't work for you or something like that, I've decided to make a short video that kind of goes over all the first day sort of things that we are going to talk about in our Zoom room so that you can view it at a later time. I want to say this is one of really my favorite classes that I've ever taught. I've taught this now for about 9 years. It is a class that really does change people's lives. People go away to college and I get emails all the time. Wow, I'm an engineer, but did you know that I minored in environmental and I'm going to have an environmental focus on my engineering. I'm going into environmental law. I'm in public legislation, public policy. People find this class to be really relevant to what's happening in their lives, what's happening in the media. We become informed about a lot of what's going on in our world. I never hear the words, I'll never use this again. I don't think I have ever heard that in this class because it's all relevant. It's all happening all around us. So I'm really glad you're here. It's also a great class if you've never had an AP class or this is your 10th AP class. The concepts in AP Environmental Science are pretty straightforward. It is a 1 semester class that is spread out over the year, so the pace is really good. And so it's wonderful for students who have never had an AP class before. But it is a science class. It is considered to be quite rigorous. And so for those of you who have had lots of AP classes, I hope it will be challenging for you. So let's go ahead and I am going to look at how just this first day, how we are going to manage our AP class and our Canvas course. Now, I don't know if everybody has used Canvas. For those of you who have used it in the spring, this is going to be kind of review. But for those of you who have not, you need to access the KD Cloud. I sent a set of instructions through the last email that will help you do that. You just go to www.kdisd.org. You can get to the cloud that way. Once you're in the cloud, you just click on the Canvas tile and you'll have a dashboard. Yours won't look like this. It'll be your own personal dashboard, but there you'll be. Now, one of the first things that happens to students, again, and maybe even those of you who use Canvas all the time will forget, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I don't see my Canvas classes. Remember that you have to go to courses. And when you go to courses, you want to click all courses. And these little stars here, the classes that you want to see on your dashboard, which are those tiles that get you into each and every class that you're taking, you want to make sure that they have a star, that you can light up the star or take it away. That's how you organize what you're seeing on your screen. So don't forget to do that or you won't be able to see the classes on your tiles. All right, so once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and go into the class, right? So here we are, AP Environmental Science. Now, I put the Tiger Prairie sign on there. It may not be the same color as yours. You can customize that part. Now, every class now is going to go to a home page. And this home page is going to be what you will use to find out what's going to happen that day. So every morning or every day before you come to class, what you're going to do, you're going to go onto Canvas, you're going to go onto the tile, click the tile, and if you scroll down, the Zoom link is right here. You can click on that Zoom link and you're ready for class. Imagine doing that like you had the 7 minutes to walk between classes every day. Zoom will load up in about a minute so it's not a problem to go from one class to the other, right? So we are going to Zoom every period like it's face-to-face, but it's going to be virtual. So if your class starts at 7:15 in the morning, if it's first period, you will get 2 minutes before class. You're walking to class 5 minutes before class. You will come here, you will click your Zoom link, and you'll be ready to go. Your expectation is that you will be on Zoom at the beginning of class. I'm not going to say that we will be Zooming the entire class period, but you need to be there at the very beginning of the class period each day. That is the expectation. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go into the class, and everything is in what is called modules. Now, the next piece is really important because after you've come into class, what you're going to want to do is, I am not going to take attendance through Zoom necessarily. I may miss you. It's really hard to manage that. People are leaving, coming in, all of that. The way that we decided as a campus to take attendance is through what's called an attendance quiz. So you're going to take that, you're going to click on the attendance quiz, and you're going to take the quiz for that day. It's not graded. There's no, right? It's just, if you look at the first one, I think the first one says, are you here today? That's it. You're going to click yes, and you're going to, that's going to be your attendance for that period, for just this class period for that day. And you'll do this every single time you enter one of your classrooms. This is really important. So if you want there to be no question about what's happening with your attendance, that's where you'll go next. So you'll click on the tile, home page, Zoom, enter into the classroom, do your attendance quiz. And that's kind of the routine that we should establish each day. All right, so let's talk about a few of the virtual things. All we're going to talk about today is how this class works. And so some of this may be a repeat for you. We will talk specifically more about AP Environmental Science tomorrow. Now, I've put a link to your textbook here. You can also get to the textbook through the cloud, but we have it here for you. We also have some textbook resources you can use as well. And so that will be good as well. You can use it like flashcards and different things like that. All right, so let's look at how this is set up. Now, the way we set up the modules is we did it week by week, and within each week, it's day by day. Now, do you have to follow? Can you go faster than that or slower than that? Yes, you can. But if you're trying to pace yourself, this is a good way to do it. Also, so what you can do is you're going to click on the very first hit on each module is going to be your to-do list. So for each day, we wrote down what you're supposed to do that day. This is really helpful. Now, we're not only putting it here, but I personally, if you look over on this left-hand side here, there's a calendar. You look at the calendar, I populate my calendar with everything. You're not going to get a paper copy or a file copy of a calendar from me. Everything's going to be in here. So here's what is a good practice for you. Something that my daughter did when she was at Katy High School. She set an alarm for 9 o'clock at night every night. And that alarm went off, and the first thing she did was go to her calendar. Okay, it's 9 o'clock on Wednesday. What was I supposed to do? So the green says, well, it looks here like I was supposed to do an attendance quiz. I better make sure I get that done. What else is there? And then you can do that for each day. Say, is there something due? If you look at Sunday, there's lots of things due. So these are actually being populated, and we'll talk about where they turn up in the modules, but the calendar tells you, you better get this done today. It's due today. So the calendar's a good place to go for that. Every night at 9 o'clock she would go, or you can look at this. This will be more detailed as far as what's due each day. So again, it's late at night, you're panicking, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. That's a good way to figure that out. Okay, I've done my attendance. I've looked at my to-do list, so let's talk about what we're going to do. All I'm going to do is talk about a few of these little details in the Wednesday, August 19th, first day of school. Okay, so we talked about the attendance issue. If you want more information, you can click on here. It tells you again, each day you will go to this module, click on the quiz, and do the quiz for that day. Like I said, this is something, you come into Zoom, you've got your phone in front of you, you can do it on your phone and you'll be fine to do that. So if you're doing everything on your phone, again, you can set up another page or however you want to do it, you will be able to do that attendance quiz. All right, next, what about my computer? Now it's really important. I have lots of great hope for this program. I really see a virtual classroom as really not a lot different from my face-to-face. We will have lots of opportunities to interact with each other, to see each other, to break out in groups. I will be lecturing and working problems on my hovercam, just like I do at school. So it can work really well. But you need to set yourself up for success, which means you need your electronic devices to be as updated as possible. Now, the browser that you're going to need is Google Chrome, and it needs to be an updated version of that. If you have a Chromebook, that's good. If you are doing things on the phone, we're going to work really hard because we know, especially in the first 3 weeks, that people are going to be using their phones a lot. They may not have a computer or a laptop. So what you're going to want to do is, one, get the Canvas app to put on your phone. There's an app, you can go to the App Store and download it for free, and it will help you a lot navigate rather than having to go through like Safari or something like that, which again doesn't work as well. Just use the Canvas app and you can do everything in there. You also want to be able to get in through and use your Google Drive. So download the Google Drive app and you can add your Google Drive for school onto your phone and it will be on there as well. So make sure that you're setting yourself up for success by having those tools on your phones and computers. So it just makes it easier for you to do everything. I'm hoping when we start Zooming, we're going to get really used to, opening up a Zoom in one tab and then looking at something else in another tab and just going back and forth. And it's just going to get easier and easier as we go along. Now, if you are new to Canvas, and there may be some of you watching this video that have never been in KDISD or in this district or maybe even the school, this navigating your course is a very basic, fundamental way to navigate through Canvas, and I highly recommend you looking at this to make sure, okay, how do I use this? I have no idea. It is very user-friendly, and so I think this will help you a lot. All right, so the next thing we want to look at is setting notifications. Now, this is something that students can kind of do how they want. What does that mean? Canvas will talk to you. It will tell you when things are due. It will tell you when things have been graded. It will tell you when a teacher has changed something in the calendar or an assignment, but it can be overwhelming. Now, some students love to be notified in real time every time something happens. Other students don't. They might want it once a week, or they might want some kinds of notifications and not others. Like, I want to know when the teacher's entered a grade, but I don't care about something else. So you can go in there and decide what you prefer. It's different for every student, but you can click there and it will show you how to do that. All right. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is academic integrity. And once we do academic integrity and sort of how we're going to act in Zoom and how we're going to act and how we turn things in, tomorrow we can talk about sort of more about AP environmental science specifically. Okay, so academic integrity is important. We talk about it every year when it's face-to-face, right? We talk about the fact that when we're face-to-face, we don't want to be passing papers to each other. We shouldn't be photographing things and sending them to our friends, all that kind of stuff. There are a couple reasons for this. One is it's really not helping your brain absorb the material. Struggling and working through something is what causes you to be successful. It's what builds your confidence, and it's what's going to get you ready for college, right? So we want to have confidence in our own ability to do our own work. In a virtual world, it's even harder to understand because a lot of students don't really understand what the rules are when it comes to the internet. They think the internet is sort of like this general bowl of information, and they can pull and copy and paste and all that information as their own. But the rules still apply when it comes to academic integrity in a virtual world. So cheating, again, you're not giving or receiving help. Now, can you discuss things? Absolutely. Should you be having study groups? That would be fantastic when the pandemic is kind of down and we can get together. We can't do that now, but you can Zoom with your friends, talk about it, work through a study guide together, talk about the modules. But when you put your hands on the keyboard or your pen on the paper, it is always in your own words. That's how your brain learns it. That's how you process it. But I will tell you, Zoom might make it really easy for everyone to do study groups. I think that would be wonderful. The other thing too is that when someone else has written something, whether it's Wikipedia or an article, it is not ours to cut and paste and put into our document as our own work. That's called plagiarism. So again, if you're writing something, whatever it is, even if it's a simple definition of a scientific term, write it in your own words. That's important. Or all of that is considered cheating. So what happens? The way Miss Keith and I are going to monitor some of this is if there's ever assignment that's written or something like that, it's going to go through Turnitin. Turnitin is a program that matches not only what is in the literature and websites and all that, but it also takes a pool of all of our classes, hers and mine, and it will say, well, you know, this student said exactly the same thing, so it can match that as well. So again, you will be fine if you write everything in your own words. If you do not do that, remember there is a possibility that you could receive a 0 on that assignment. So just write it in your own words, discuss it with someone if you don't understand, but make sure that what goes on the paper or into the computer screen is your own thoughts, your own work. All right, so how do we track this? So it's important for students to know that teachers have a variety of ways of actually tracking academic dishonesty. And so we know when you've logged on, every page you visited, every browser and operating system you visit from, every message you send, and all the times of all of those things. So just be aware that teachers know what you're doing when you are in their Canvas course to kind of help with making sure these methods and tracking detection are advanced enough that they will be able to see what you're doing on Canvas. So your first little assignment, or you should say your second assignment, your first is going to be your attendance quiz. Your second assignment is an academic honesty pledge. Every college class I ever took, every single test we took, we had to sign an academic honesty pledge. Because honestly, a lot of these things, it's on the honor system. Are you going to stand by your word that the work you are presenting is your own? So you will say, I, and you'll type your name here, agree that I have read and understand the academic integrity policy and Netiquette guidelines. I understand that if I violate this policy, I may face disciplinary actions through my home campus. I also understand that cheating is not acceptable. Cheating may result in an automatic 0 on an assignment, and then you're going to put in your Katie ISD number. Super easy assignment, but take that very seriously. It's really important that we all live by the honor code. All right, last but not least is Netiquette. All right, so in a virtual world, again, how do we act? How do we behave? Really, Netiquette is similar to what you would imagine if you're meeting in the classroom. You just want to present yourself in a professional way online as you would in the classroom. So there's different parts of things when we're discussing things. We want to make sure that we're using the proper language, that we're kind to people, that we listen to people, that we, especially in the class where you have a lot of discussions about kind of heated topics, that we're respectful of each other when we do that. Also make sure that when we're Zooming, that you're dressed appropriately, that you're using the proper language when you're speaking, and that you're not showing things to other students that may not be school appropriate. So the same rules for all that apply as you would expect. So that's all for today. That gives you a little bit of idea of how this online class is going to work. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully we'll be able to be out in the Tiger Prairie really soon, doing fun experiments out there, working out there, and learning about your environment, the planet we live on, the only one we have, and how we can better take care of that. So I'm going to stop share, and we'll see you tomorrow.